Aloha! This is a special edition of the Comics for Fun and Profit podcast. In this episode, I did a phone interview with Chandler and Sharon Rice, the organizers of the Great American Comic-Con Las Vegas. Now let's get started. Welcome to a special edition of the Comic Book Page and the Comics for Fun and Profit podcast. I am interviewing Chandler and Sharon Rice. Now, you guys are the co-organizers for the Great American Comic-Con in Las Vegas. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Now, before I continue, actually, what I'm going to ask is, before we start, talking about the convention, how are you guys doing? I know in the last, 3 weeks, you guys have been on the road to all different conventions, right?
I think out of the month of October, we spent 3 days at the house, other than just this last weekend.
Wow. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, because I think you guys started off October with New York Comic Con. Is that correct?
Yeah, we went to New York Comic Con, then we came back from New York, didn't even have a day.
Well, actually, before we came back from New York, we went on our Legends tour.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's where we visit all of the creators that no longer do shows.
Mm-hmm.
So we were in New York. We didn't get back from New York till Thursday, turned right around that very day, and drove off to L.A. for the L.A. Comic Con.
Oh, God.
Yeah. In LA, we obviously we did that show, and then we also did a little bit more of the Legends tour that we signed with Jerry Conway during that. That was that Monday after the show.
Mm-hmm.
So got home late Monday night, and then we were in the office Tuesday and Wednesday to unpack, repack, and then Thursday we were on a plane again heading to Baltimore for the Baltimore Comic Con, and we concluded Baltimore up with signing with Sal Buscema as part of the Legends tour while we were in the Baltimore region, and we came back now. So 3 shows in 3 weeks, and basically, as I got through telling someone the other day, we, for the first, we're 30 days, we were on the road for 20 of the 30 days.
Wow. I mean, I give you guys credit for doing that. That's wow. But did you guys have...
That's life for us, I'll say that.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to ask, did you guys have fun at those conventions? Or was it just...
Did we have fun at those conventions?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
New York was extremely hectic. It was probably the most busiest New York that we've ever had. Last year was insane. This year was double insane. Wow. So we were very busy.
Mm-hmm.
The LA Comic Con was busy, but we had time to breathe and we had time to eat lunch.
Oh my God.
So it was a nice pace.
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore was also a nice pace.
Oh, good.
So those were good. It's not that we didn't enjoy New York, but it's hard with 10 hours. You don't eat, you don't drink, you don't go to the bathroom.
Oh God, yeah.
It's a little stressful.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. I heard it. Yeah, I heard New York Comic Con can be a little intense. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, but that's New York for you.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to lead into the segue right now. Is do you guys have your guys' own comic book convention coming out, coming in November? So again, may I ask what the name of the comic book convention is called?
Our show is called Great American Comic Con, or Great American Comic Convention in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And this is our 4th year.
Mm-hmm.
Our first year was in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Then we did a show in 2016. 2017 we had to take the year off because we actually moved from one venue to another, and that move was because City had decided to shut down the old venue. So we were kind of caught off. So we did not have a show in 17. We had our show last year in 18, and this is our 4th show this year.
Mm-hmm. So, then I'm going to ask, what was the spark, or what made you guys decide to do your guys' own comic book convention?
Well, I can tell you that was Chandler's idea. we go to so many conventions, between 30 and 40 a year, that Chandler's what works and doesn't work. So he decided that he's going to have a convention and he's going to put all those ideals of what works together and throw a convention kind of for convention booth vendors, but by convention booth vendors.
I guess a way to put it, this is how I would describe it, is Sharon and I, we're one of the very few people in the industry that we fall into all four of the following categories. We rarely, but once in a blue moon, will be at a convention as an attendee.
Yes.
So we know what it's like to be at a convention as an attendee. We know what to expect. We know what to look forward to, and stuff like that. The next step after that would be that we are an exhibitor, and we're at a ton of shows as an exhibitor. So here again, we have a good, clear understanding of what to expect as an exhibitor, what to expect from a show, what to expect from the crowds, what the crowds expect from us, etc. Then the third category would be the fact that because we handle several creators, people such as John Romita Jr., Chris Claremont, creators like that, where we're their handler at a show. We schedule them into the show, and then we basically are the ones that are taking care of setting up the signings and stuff like that. So that gives us another perspective as far as what goes on at a comic book convention. So we see it from the creator standpoint, we see it from the fan standpoint, we see it from the exhibitor standpoint, and it's taking all three of those experiences, putting them together, and then to me, that allows us to then hopefully be putting on something that people can enjoy, like Sharon said, finding what works and finding what doesn't work, and applying those to a convention so that we can make something that's enjoyable for everyone that's there.
That's pretty cool. That's really good that you guys have all those different perspectives. That's really nice. Yeah. And then I know you guys. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. If I remember correctly, you guys said that you guys started the convention back in 2014. 2015. But Chandler, when did you guys start thinking about, hey, maybe I think we can do this? We can do a convention. Was it like a couple years before you guys did it, or?
I guess you could say that we toyed with the idea for several years before that. Then it was a matter of finding out the logistics of it. Where were we going to hold it? I actually, there were probably a couple of years where I went to the casinos to see what the availability was of space there. A lot of times it was a case where, because the calendars were already filled, because the casino with their vendors with their exhibitor space, exhibition space would be already filled up. So it took a while to finally get it going, and again, we finally got it going in 2015. But I'd say we probably started toying with the idea 2-3 years, maybe even 4 years prior, just sparking in our mind, going, well, wouldn't this be interesting if we tried to do our own? But it's not something that we thought of and it immediately happened.
Yes.
It takes time. It takes time.
Well, like I said, that's pretty cool. That, again, like you guys have different perspectives. You guys really thought about it. Like you said, you guys went to, the hotel casinos, checking it out, and then, 2015, you guys were able to pull it off, and that's great. And then I'm gonna just point out that this year's convention is going to be at the Las Vegas Convention Center on Saturday, November 16th, and Sunday, November 17th. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That is correct. It's at the Southeast Hall.
Okay. All right. And then, your convention, has it just only been for 2 days, or have you guys done it like 3 days?
convention.
Okay.
Yeah. There was no way we were going to start with a 3-day convention. There's just too much to try to do that. At one point there was talk of us, when we were first talking about putting this together, starting with a 1-day convention. In hindsight being 2020, I now know how I would have done that. And, that actually may have something to do with what we plan on doing in 2020, having the 2-day show and maybe having a few 1-day shows, smaller, much, much, much smaller. But, those are just ideas that are floating around, banging around in the head. But no, it's always been a 2-day show, and honestly, I'm not sure when we would take it to 3 days at this point. We just want to continue building it and making sure that it's a good show. Our goal is to make sure the creators have a good time, that it's worthwhile for them. Knock on wood, we haven't had a creator leave our show yet saying they didn't want to come back.
Okay.
Everyone said they've had a good show. Fortunately, the customers that come into our show spend money with the creators, getting sketches and everything else, so the creators are happy. And because our show's a comic-centric show, we don't bring in all those celebrity guests and stuff like that. We deal with comic book stuff. What we have been doing this year that's a little different, though, is we're starting to do more community type of things that revolve around comics. One of the things we're really proud of this year that we're going to be doing is we have basically what's going to be a kids section in the show where we reached out. We're working with the school district here in Las Vegas, the Clark County School District, and they sent an announcement out to all the schools, letting the art teachers and the kids know what we're doing. And basically what it is a kid anywhere from kindergarten up to 12th grade, if they're artists, whether it's books, whether it's pencils or pens or brushes or crayons or really doesn't make any difference. Art is art. We're going to give them a place to display their art. And so they'll be able, they can sign up for a space in the show, and they'll be given a space where they can display 2 pieces of their art. The child, as well as a parent, will be able to come into the show for free. We're going to have comic creators who will be there talking and giving advice and stuff like that. So we're looking to help spur on the creative juices of children looking at becoming artists. And as I guess you can jokingly say, it's our way of trying to find the next Jim Lee. Who knows?
I'm going to say, Chandler and Sharon, that's a great idea. Because, kids, when I was growing up, all we did was either drew from what we saw, and we never got any real positive feedback or anything. But I think that's just great that you guys are bringing kids in, letting them do their artwork, have comic book artists and writers, there to look at it and, just encourage them on. That's great.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. We think that it will be well received, and who knows, it might be something that other promoters, other shows may see it and go, hey, I like that idea. I think I'll do the same thing.
Yes.
For us, it's one of the ways that we're trying to involve the local community, the local art and comic book community here in Las Vegas more into our show. So giving them a place to come and giving them, to a certain degree, a place to call home for what they want to show.
Yeah. Like I said, I think that's really great. That really is. Like I said, that's pretty awesome. And then since we're talking about comic book creators, I'm going to ask you guys, how do you guys go about choosing who to invite to your convention? Like you said, that you guys have had great guests, and they always want to come back. So, how do you guys go about inviting or choosing who comes to the conventions?
Well, I know one of Chandler's criteria is that he likes to bring people in that have not been to Las Vegas in some time.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, he likes to bring people in that the local community has not
Mm-hmm.
So I know that's one of his choices.
Yeah. Again, for me, I'm trying to keep it true to it being a comic centric show. So what I'm looking for is creators and creators who have worked on books, a wide variety of product, if you want to call it that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we'll bring in guys who worked on Silver Age books, guys who worked on Bronze and Copper Age books, as well as modern. We try to give the crowd a selection. I know we've had Alan Bellman, who's been our oldest creator. He's been to our show twice, and he represented the Golden Age era. We had
Bernie Wrightson.
Bernie Wrightson at our first up in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Who obviously you're talking about someone who's a solid Bronze Age and maybe late Silver Age creator.
Mm-hmm.
This year we have Al Milgrom coming in.
Yes.
We have Tom Grummett, who's going to be here. Both those guys did a large body of work in the late 70s, all through the 80s into the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have someone like Scott Hanna, who's been around for basically about 30 years or so.
Yes.
And you have upcoming artists, well established, Clayton Crane.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Very popular.
Yep. So that's part of what we try to do. We try to bring in people, whether it's David McElhinney, obviously you look at his body work as a writer.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Bagley,
yes,
his work as an artist. But to answer your question, how do we get these guys? Our relationship. We spend a good amount of time building relationships with all these creators. With us being at as many shows as we were at, it gives us an opportunity to meet and get to know a lot of these people. And there are times where we do have the rare opportunity to sit down and break bread with them or have drinks with them or something like that. But that's pretty much, that's probably, if you want to call it the secret sauce, that's the secret sauce for us is the relationships that we've built over the years with a lot of these guys. Sharon, when we're at a show, Sharon spends 99% of the time in the booth.
Yes.
She's the one taking care of the customers in the booth and everything else. I'm the one that's like a chicken with my head cut off, running around, seeing what's going on, and then if we have someone in the booth helping them, whether it's a guest or a creator in the booth. But the thing is that we each have our own ways of working with creators. Where Sharon, if we have someone in the booth, it gives her a chance to really kind of bond with them. And then, it's a unique opportunity for us, and we try to take advantage of it in the sense of building good relationships.
Yes. One question. Sorry, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. One question is, you guys, the convention is going to be in November. Has it always been in November?
No.
Okay.
The first two conventions were the first weekend of December.
Wow.
Yeah. The first two conventions, 2015 and 2016, were both the first weekend of December.
The problem with Las Vegas, we are saturated with conventions.
Yes.
It's one of actually, it's the third largest convention hall, the Las Vegas Convention Hall.
Okay.
Only following Chicago and Orlando. Come next year, that's the second largest because they're adding a brand new hall.
Yeah, Las Vegas has over 2 million square feet of convention space in this convention center.
But everyone loves coming to Vegas, so convention after convention, convention. It's hard to find a date for your con. So December was all we could find the first couple of years. We didn't particularly care for December because everybody was getting ready for Christmas. We were also competing with the Cowboy Christmas and the rodeo here in town. So we were going to find a spot the middle of November. I don't know if we're going to stay in November. We also have to watch out for our other shows that we go to because we don't want to compete with the show that we really need to be in
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Sharon, I know before we started the interview, what's the temperature like in Las Vegas right now?
It's actually cold. In fact, we're under a freeze alert. It's now about 53 degrees, but they actually issued a freeze alert, which doesn't happen very often in Vegas.
Yes.
And basically, when it's up below 60, everybody complains.
Well, bear in mind that it was less than a month ago that it was still very much in the mid 70s to low 80s.
Well, in fact, on the radio, it said "Welcome to fall and winter" at the same time.
Yeah.
Because we were very nice weather, and then all of a sudden this cold front came through.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, that's just.
But it's
Mm-hmm. No, sorry. Sorry, Sharon.
You were saying. So anyway, yeah, that's as far as the weather here in Las Vegas, that's what it's like, and it normally our weather patterns. It gets cold here during the month of December and January, where it once in a while, once every probably 3 or 4 years, we'll get maybe a day of snow.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
But other than that, normally it's just cold during December and January, and then come February it starts warming up, and by the time mid to late March rolls around, we're back up into the 70s again, and we're getting ready for summertime by the time May rolls around. So summertime in Las Vegas is 100+ degrees.
Wow. I'm going to say, but in some sense, I know the convention is like, and you guys said it's kind of hard to book conventions because of, competing with other conventions. You guys also have to be at certain comic book conventions. But I'm kind of thinking November, at least it's not the 100-degree weather. So yeah.
Yes. A convention in June, July, and August it's just too hot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so I'm gonna. Sorry.
It's a different story when someone's afraid to get out of their car because it's so sweltering hot that during the summertime, the joke is that how you can watch how people move during the summertime because they literally will go from building to building, and they won't spend too much time out in the sun because it's just so hot. But fortunately, it's also a dry heat, so it's not too bad.
Mm-hmm. Well, right now in Hawaii, I think we're like still in the high 80s right now. And it's normally the temperature should be dropping at least till 70, but no. So yeah, but I couldn't believe it, Sharon, when you told me how chilly it was in Vegas. Yeah.
Yep.
It won't last.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna continue on. I'm gonna go back to the questions about the creators. Now, do you guys, I know you mentioned about how you talk about inviting guests to the convention. I'm just asking, do you guys have like a certain theme for the con or anything? Because I noticed this year you guys have the creative theme for Venom Lethal Protector.
Yes. To a certain degree, that's kind of by osmosis, in the sense that it depends on who we start getting to a show. I do, as an example, I do have an idea of something I want to do in 2021.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not prepared to talk about it yet.
No.
But it's something that I've been...
Well, what Chair likes to do is, it's like in 2016, he had Steve Englehart and Frank Bruner, because Doctor Strange had just came out at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So as we are in the signature business, he's always thinking about who can we get to sign a book.
Mm-hmm.
So he likes to invite them like in pairs or trios, or this year all four of the creative team, Venom Lethal Protector.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not necessarily a theme for a show, but it's just he likes to have the fans come and be able to get their book signed by more than one person.
Mm-hmm.
Well, honestly, here, what I was shooting for originally was we had invited David Michelinie, and we invited Mark Bagley, and I knew we had the writer and the artist of Carnage, Amazing Spider 361.
That's right, yes.
Last year, we had Randy Everling, who was the inker on that book.
Yeah.
And I'd reached out to Randy, but unfortunately, Randy's already booked for other shows.
Mm-hmm.
But then it was, okay, we invited Al Milgrom to come out. And then it's like, well, wait a minute. We have 3 of the 4, and it's funny because we had actually talked to Sam De La Rosa back in late June when we saw Sam at a show in Dallas, Texas, and I'd asked him if he was interested in coming to the show, and he said, well, he's already booked.
Yeah.
Sure enough, not more than a couple weeks ago, we were in L.A., and Sam comes walking up to us. He was at the show, and he says, guess what? My show that I was booked on is canceled, so I'd love to come to Vegas. And boom, now we had all 4 guys. So it was kind of weird how it happened.
Yeah.
But, it's something I do to a certain degree, kind of look, like Sharon says, I try to find combinations of stuff, combinations of creators who work together, because it makes it more enjoyable for fans when they're able to come to a show and they're able to bring certain books and say, oh, great, I can get this artist and this writer, and I can get all this stuff done. So, it helps those people. It gives them something really to look forward to.
Yes. No, yes, it does. Are they going to have a panel together to talk about the miniseries or anything like that?
You'll have to wait and see.
Okay.
I can tell you that we're getting ready to start advertising of a package.
Okay.
We're going to have a special limited edition print that will be available at the show. And at the same time, it will involve an opportunity to get to meet and talk to all 4 creators at once. And so, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of chatter talking about the book and how it all came about a little bit. I mean, the fact that you have David Michelinie here, where, David obviously was the co-creator of Venom with Todd McFarlane. And then here it is, now Venom ended up becoming this unbelievable character, which you then had Carnage. It spawned off of Venom. It's usually the spin on words there of Spawn didn't mean that one, but there's some things that we're going to be doing that revolve around the characters. And last year, like I said, we had Randy Everling here, and he did a Venom piece for us, which was quite popular. And considering how popular Venom is right now with the movie and everything that came out, the chatter of being a Venom 2 movie, so to me, if it's something that makes the fans happy, then why not?
Oh yes. And then also too, you guys have Mark Bagley coming at your convention, and if I remember correctly, because in Absolute Carnage #1 that came out just a few months ago, he did about 20 random sketches. So whoever has one, this is the perfect place for him to autograph it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It would be. I would imagine that Mark is going to be a very, very, very busy man. All these guys. That's the one thing I can say with pride about our show is that we have customers and fans that come to the show, and they don't hesitate to want to spend money getting sketches and stuff like that, buying prints, buying artwork.
Yes.
I remember one year, 2016, one of our guests was Bob Layton, and Bob openly told me he was coming to the show because he wanted to just enjoy himself in Las Vegas. He wasn't necessarily looking for anything in particular. He wasn't looking to do a lot of work. He actually just wanted to enjoy himself. Well, the Saturday, the first 4 hours of the show, I went walking past his booth, and I'm like, Bob, how's it going? And Bob's like, Chandler, this is crazy. This is insane. And I'm like, what's the problem, Bob? And he says, my sketch list is filled, and there's only 4 hours into the show. And he was complaining to me because he was going to have to spend all night
Mm-hmm.
And he had planned on going out and partying on the town and having a good time. But the end result was, I think, if I remember correctly, he sold like a $3,000 cover or something.
Oh, my God.
Which,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so he ended up walking out of that show making some really good money. And he walked up and he, have me back anytime, buddy. It was a great experience. So, you know, I take pride in that we're able to create that type of experience for these creators and allow them to have that kind of interaction with fans because, you know, spending time sketching and interacting with fans, that's what makes it fun.
Oh, yes, yeah. Now, also, too, Chandler, I have to say, I think that is the first story I ever heard of anyone walking out of Vegas making money.
Yeah.
Well, I said they made money at the show. I can't say they left Vegas making money. Sharon can tell you that from experience of her work, and that is people. She works for a company that manufactures slot machines.
Oh.
And yeah, they'll sit there and they'll come up to her and they'll say, "So what's the secret?" And Sharon says, "It's real simple. Take your money and put it back in your pocket.
Walk away.
And walk away. That's the only way to guarantee you're going to win because otherwise, those slot machines are set up to win for them."
Yes. So, to our listeners, if you guys get anything out of this interview, that's what you hear. If you're in Vegas, you see a slot machine, just put your money back in your pocket and just walk away.
Well, I also tell people, here's the theory I believe in for gambling in Las Vegas. You don't live here.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
You take your change and you put your change in a jar all year long. And then when you come to Vegas, you spend what's in that jar. It can be $100, $200, $300, $400.
Yeah.
But it's not money you're going to miss because it's the change out of your pocket. And you can have a great time, and it's very much like entertainment.
That's right.
You know, when you go to a movie nowadays, it's $20, $25 for the movie ticket and $20, $25 for the popcorn. 2 hours, you spend $50.
Yes.
So as long as you regulate what you spend on the slot machines or having fun in casinos, if you consider it entertainment and you're not going to try to make your family fortune, it can be a lot of fun. But I always tell people when they say, "Do you gamble?" And I said, if you live in Vegas and want to keep your ass, you do not gamble.
Basically, to kind of, I think, put the cherry on top of that is you simply, what it comes down to is don't come to Vegas with the anticipation of making money. Come to Vegas with the understanding that you're coming here to have a good time, and the money you spend is meant to stay here. Because I can tell you that is how the casinos are built. They're built on the basis of keeping the money that is brought to Las Vegas.
Yes.
But I just think it's entertainment money.
Yeah.
When you go to a concert, you don't anticipate getting your money back,
Yeah.
but you spend the money because you got entertained.
Yes.
And that's what it's all about, is entertainment.
Yeah.
Because they have some incredible games nowadays. They're a lot of fun.
Oh, okay. No, but that's good. Because I'm going to say, I think the last time I've been to Vegas was, 14 years ago. Yeah, so it's been a while.
It's a lot.
So you need to come back. As a matter of fact, I think you need to come back in 2 weeks.
Actually, I'm going to say, and don't say anything about it, but what you said about 2021, I'm kind of going, I could swing around. Yeah.
Okay. He has a treat in store.
Okay.
Yeah, I got something. I had something I've already got in the works, and
What is that the anniversary of, Chandler?
oh, you're not going to make me do that, are you? I will simply say this: it is the 20th anniversary of a historic event, and this is actually going to be us recognizing something that recorded that event.
Yes. Yeah.
In the comic book industry.
Yes.
In the comic book industry. You know, I'm not really prepared to talk about it just yet because I still have to work out a couple more things.
Yes.
But I think when I do have it all ready to go, people are going to go, wow, that's cool.
Okay. All right. I'm going to leave that alone because in 2 years from now, we're going to do another interview, right, to promote that convention. So like I said,
2 years from now, you're going to be interviewing us live from the Las Vegas floor.
That's what we're gonna do. Now I want to go back to some of the great comic book creators you guys have lined up for this year, because I see you guys have Carl Potts. You know.
Yeah.
Right? He was, if now correct me if I'm wrong, he was a former editor-in-chief at Marvel, correct? Was he?
I'm sorry, I did not hear the question.
I'm sorry, what, so Carl Potts, now correct me if I'm wrong, was he a former editor-in-chief at
He wasn't an editor-in-chief.
Okay, sorry.
He was, I believe he was an editor at Marvel.
Okay.
So, but I do not believe he was editor-in-chief.
Okay.
No.
We'll have to look that up.
No.
We'll have to look that up. Last year, one of the guests that we had on our last year's show was Tom DeFalco, who was an editor-in-chief at
Yes.
Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was right after Jim Shooter, right?
I believe so, yes.
So I'm going to say, the more we talk about, I think, Chandler, I think you're right. I think Carl Potts was an editor at Marvel, and I know he also wrote Punisher, and he also created Alien Legion. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So that's great that you guys have him coming to your guys' convention. Matter of fact, he was at the Maui Comic Con this past weekend.
Last weekend, if I'm correct.
Yes, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I know. I was trying to get a hold of him, and he said, "I'm in Maui."
Also, you guys got, to me, a couple great artists, legendary artists, I'm going to say. One of them is we've talked about Tom Grummett, and the other artist is Alec Savivic. I'm mispronouncing the last name.
Alex Savivic.
Yes.
Yeah, Alex. We actually had our show last year, and Alex he's been in the industry for a long time.
Yes.
Obviously,
We love Alex and his wife.
Yes.
They're really good.
Yeah, they're good.
Oh, yeah.
Alex and Jody, they're fun people to be around.
Yes.
Alex actually was on the Spider-Man news strip for many years, working with Larry Lieber and with Roy Thomas. So,
When Larry stepped down, didn't he take over Larry's job on the strip?
pretty much, and then they shut the strip down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to talk to Alex about that when you see him. He and I had a long conversation about that. But so Alex is going to be coming out. He was at our show last year, and it was funny how that all came about, because originally I wasn't really thinking of bringing Alex out, because part of what I'm trying to do is I'm trying not to bring a guest out 2 years in a row.
Yes.
Number one, because there are other people I'd like to bring out.
Yes.
And this year, one of the things you'll probably notice is that we actually reduced our guest list. And part of that is Sharon basically looked at me and says, you can't have everyone here at one time. So it's like, okay. So I had to cut back. But what ended up happening is Alex walked up to me while we were in, I think it was Baltimore. It might have been New York. I don't remember. But he said that he and his wife were going to be in Las Vegas vacationing, and could he just come to the show? And it's like, well, okay.
Yeah.
You're already here. Why not?
Yeah.
So that's how that all worked out. So yeah, he'll be coming out, and Alex obviously he's a great guy to work with. When it comes to sketches, he can do some absolutely phenomenal, great stuff. He's actually doing some covers for Marvel right now. So he's got some variant covers for Marvel as it is. So he's staying busy. But anyway.
But yeah, because like I've always, I love Tom and Alex's art, because, to me, and I told Tom Grummett when I saw him at Comic-Con Honolulu this past year, was the one thing I can always rely on whenever I see his name or Alex's name on the cover is, I know their art is going to be consistent. I know what to expect. And they never let me down. They never do. It's just one of those, it's consistent. The background, they pay attention to the background and the details and everything like that. And that it's great. Yeah.
Yep. So, so pretty much completing our guest list. Like I said, we've already talked about Carl. We have Kevin Van Hook coming out.
Yes.
And Kevin is the co-creator of Bloodshot, which obviously there's the new Bloodshot movie coming out.
Yes.
Next year, which is Vin Diesel,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
We've already talked about David Michelinie.
Yes.
And then we have Mark Bagley coming out. We have Sam De La Rosa.
Mm-hmm.
We got Clayton Crane. Clayton Crane is great. He's a great cover artist. He's doing some phenomenal covers right now. He is just killing it with some great covers right now. Then we've already talked about Scott Hanna,
Yes.
Todd Knock.
Yes.
Todd Knock is Todd Knock he's been around for a while. He did his run on Spider-Man.
Yes.
And he's just one of those guys. He's a solid performer from beginning to end.
Yes.
And like I said, we have Al and we have Tom, and that pretty much winds up our guest list as far as who we have coming out this year. And like I said, I trimmed it down. Part of it is I wanted to make sure that the guests, one of the things that I had guests telling me is that they, that there were too many guests for the size of the show. And we're not a big show; we're a small show. I mean, Sharon and I are truly a mom and pop show. So but like I said, we want to make this fun for everyone. Make it fun for the guests. Make it fun for the fans.
And then also, and I'm going to ask, can we start talking about your exhibitors? Like, who's going to be there? Do you anyone you want to, or do you want to promote all of them right now?
Well, there's so many of them. I mean,
we have over 100 artists.
Oh, my God.
Now, way too many to name, but
okay.
we really had a good turnout this year for the local artists and the regional artists. And unlike other shows, we allow people to buy Artist Alley tables that may not be an artist, but they're a craftsman.
Oh, okay.
They do arts and crafts that are comic book themed. And so we have over 100 of Artist Alley tables.
Yeah. We've got a large Artist Alley. As far as our exhibitor space, we have some solid exhibitors coming in. We have comic dealers. We have comic dealers like Harley. Harley is coming in. Jamie Graham is coming in. Terry's Comics is coming in.
Okay.
We'll have Red Hood Comics. It's going to be here. We're gonna have a whole bunch of different people. We have exhibitors coming in from all over the country. We have people coming in from Texas.
Wow.
We have people coming in from Mexico. We have people coming in from the Midwest. We have some people coming from the East Coast. So, I guess part of it is for them. It gives them a chance to kind of enjoy a nice little vacation on the West Coast while they're making money. So the great thing about it is, from a fan's perspective, they get to see some really cool books because, like I said, when you have people like Harley and Terry and Jamie, those guys are major dealers at shows, so they're going to bring the product that fans are going to love to see.
That's going to be nice. I'm going to ask, because I was looking through you guys' website and Facebook page, and because there was one, I'm not sure if they're exhibitors, but very awesome girls into nerdy things. I'm just asking, is that a local group? Is that a vendor? I'm just pointing them out because I just saw
it's
their...
a local cosplay group of girls.
Oh, okay.
They've been at our show a couple years now.
Oh.
Yeah.
In fact, we have about 7 cosplay groups that will be coming out to support us.
Wow.
Yeah.
We even have a cosplay comedy team. That there are 8 players that they dress in comic book characters and comic book costumes, and they do comedy skits.
Oh.
Yeah, they do comedy skits, stuff like that. So they kind of have like a little show that they put on.
I believe they're known as the Cosplay Comics.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
So, yeah, with us working with the children and everything, the cosplayer is going to be able to step up and help us. And one of the other things that we do at the show, and this is kind of more of a pet thing for me, where I have a lot of pride behind this, is the day before the show, I take several of the creators to a facility. It's an outpatient facility for children who get their chemotherapy and they get their radiation treatment and stuff. And these are kids who have immune systems that are compromised, so they can't come to a comic book convention because of, let's face it, comic book convention, all the people, germs, and everything else. You can say it that way, but you take someone who is battling for their life, trying to beat cancer, and they can't go into those kinds of situations. So I bring the creators to them, and there's being able to see a comic artist sitting there and teaching kids how to draw Spider-Man, seeing the smiles on these kids, nothing to replace that. And fortunately, knock on wood, the creators just love doing that. So it's our way of giving back to the community also, in the sense that my terminology for this is my way of bringing the con to the kids for the kids that can't come to the con. So, and we have cosplayers that will be helping us with that as well.
That's nice.
We also have six cars this year. The SEMA show is the weekend before our show. 6 cars are staying over. They're comic book themed cars.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And so people will be able to come and get their picture with cars that are wrapped like
yeah, I think we're going to see. I believe we're going to have a Carnage car. I think we're being teased with the fact we may have a Venom car here. I think there's going to be a Deadshot car, or either Deadshot or Deadpool.
Spider Buggy.
There's going to be the Spider Buggy that's going to be there. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's something different for the fans to be able to see. They'll be able to interact with the cars and take pictures and stuff like that. And again, all the cars are tied into comic-themed characters.
That's pretty cool. Chandler, if you don't mind me, I'm going to go back. Like you said, you bring some of the comic book creators to. You bring some of the comic book creators to to these kids at these cancer hospitals or the cancer wards. How did that come about, Chandler? If you don't mind me asking.
One of our good friends is actually, he is the head of a major hospital here in Las Vegas. And when we were first starting the show, it came up in conversation. He says, it'd be really cool if maybe a couple of these creators could come visit with kids that are in the hospital, because at that time we were in an actual hospital. So the problem was the kids were in the hospital, so they couldn't go anywhere. And that's where it started. Like I said, now we're dealing with an outpatient facility, which deals with children's cancer and everything else. So, we've kind of progressed and grown the whole idea and the whole concept. But something as simple as that.
Yeah. Wow. That's, like I said, that's pretty awesome, Chandler. Sharon, Chandler, that, like I said, that's pretty awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, that's great. And like you said, the kids really appreciate, they enjoy it, right? Yeah.
Yep. No, they love it. They love it. The looks on their faces, and I mean, I'm not going to do it because Sharon would kill me if I did this, but I could spend the next hour just talking about the experiences of being there and seeing the kids and how they reacted and stuff like that. I will simply say that, just it makes your heart burst when you see kids who are having such a difficult time in life. I mean, let's face it, they're in dire situations. Some of these kids are being told that you're never going to have a normal life, and this allows them to escape it for a moment. That's one thing that's great about comic books. Comic books allow you to escape what life is all about, and that's, I think, part of what appeals to a lot of people. And that's one of the reasons why comic books is as big of an industry. I mean, when you talk to comic creators that go back to the 60s and 70s, they'll sit there there, and they'll be the first ones to tell you, I never expected it to last this long. I mean, Mr. Ramita, talking to him recently, and I asked him that same question, and he says, "Kid, I was just happy to have a job the next week. I was just happy to have a job the next week." So, considering where it started and where it's become, no one ever imagined it would be as big as it is, and then you just add to it the whole explosion with movies and stuff like that, and it's a whole other dynamic.
Yeah.
But this is just a small slice of what the comic industry is about, and it's where people naturally come and meet these creators and create this really cool medium that allow people to escape from life.
Yeah. Yes, and now it's grown into doing movies like you said, Kevin Van Hook. Now he's seeing his creation of Bloodshot, coming to life next year. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think that's I don't know what else we can really say at this point.
Yeah.
We basically have to get everything ready for
Yes.
for all these guys to come in and make sure we have a good time and make sure they have a good time and basically get through the show. I mean, Sharon and I, we have a really busy schedule the next 2 weeks.
Yes. One more thing about the convention before I ask you to promote it again and so forth. Is First Comics Publishing going to be there?
I just got confirmation today that they're coming.
Okay. Because you guys are going to have John and Matt Ewan, the Ewan twins, correct?
That's what I was told.
Okay.
Like I said, I literally got confirmation of this not more than 3-4 hours ago.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah, I guess there was there was a little hiccup in the communications, but fortunately everything's on track, and they'll be here. They're going to have several of their comic creators here, and we'll be thankful to have them here. They were at our show last year, and we're welcoming them back this year.
Yeah. Because I spoke to John and Matt when they were here, earlier this month at the Geek Craft Expo. Great guys. Have you guys met John and Matt Ewan?
No, I don't think we have.
Can't say that we have. So we look forward to seeing them when they come to Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Going one island to the other island.
Yes. So, all right, Chandler and Sharon, I'm going to start wrapping this up. Do you guys have any last words for our listeners?
Just, if you're going to be in Las Vegas, the weekend of the 16th and 17th, and you don't have your schedule all filled out, come on out and have a good time. Come to the Las Vegas Convention Center, Southeast Hall, right off of Swenson, and we're going to be there. Doors will open at 10 a.m., and the shows are going on from 10 to 7 on Saturday and 10 to 6 on Sunday. We're going to have a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of comic and geekery going on. So
the website is Great American Comic Convention Las Vegas.com, and I believe it's abbreviated GACCLV.com.
Chandler and Sharon, thank you very much for you guys' time. I'm going to let you guys go because, like you guys said, man, it's like the next 2 weeks you guys are just going to be busy. So again, thank you very much. So
thank you.
And then I'll see you guys and I hope you guys come back for Comic-Con Honolulu next year, and I'll see you guys then.
We definitely want to come back. But don't forget, we have a date to rekindle this in 2021 with you here in Las Vegas, okay?
That is a date. That is a date. And matter of fact, I'm going to tell Dawn, my wife, as soon as we're done with this interview, that we have it set.
Okay, great.
All right.
Wonderful.
Chandler and Sharon, again, thank you very much. All right. You guys have a good night. That was my interview with Chandler and Sharon Rice, the organizers of the Great American Comic-Con Las Vegas. Again, this convention will be on the weekend of November 16th and 17th at the Convention Center Southeast Hall. Now, they have a great lineup this year. They have the creative team of the Venom Lethal Protector miniseries. That's David Michelini, Sam Della Rosa, Al Milgrom, and Mark Bagley. And also, too, they also have other great creators there as well. Clayton Crane, the artist on the miniseries Venom vs. Carnage. Artist Tom Grummett will be there as well. His current work right now, he's doing Section Zero for Image Comics. And also the Ewan twins will be there as well. I interviewed them a couple weeks ago. Please stop by their table and just say hi to them. Also, too, if you see Chandler and Sharon Rice on the convention floor, please stop by, say hi to them, and also talk story with them as well, too. And again, if you live in Las Vegas or visiting Las Vegas during the weekend of November 16th and 17th, please check out the Great American Comic-Con Las Vegas at the Convention Center Southeast Hall. Now, this part of the podcast, this is where I just do a bunch of thank yous, so, please bear with me on this. First off, I just want to thank God for letting me meet Chandler and Sharon Rice. I really enjoy talking to them. They're such awesome people. And I want to give a big mahalo or thank you to Chandler and Sharon, for taking their time out of their busy schedule, to do this interview. So Chandler and Sharon, thank you very much. And I also want to thank my wife, Dawn, for supporting me, in this crazy expensive hobby that I do. And also, for supporting me to contribute to, to John and Drew's podcast. And I want to thank Drew and John for letting me contribute to their podcast. Drew's podcast is Comics for Fun and Profit. John's is the Comic Book Page podcast. So, I just want to thank them for letting me contribute to their podcast. So, John and Drew, thank you very much. And also, too, they also do a lot of hard work behind the scenes in putting these episodes together. So, again, John and Drew, thank you very much. And if you are a new listener, to the Comics for Fun and Profit podcast, please check out, their weekly podcast. It comes out every Saturday morning. Drew and his brother Kyle, they do comic book speculations on new releases. And also, please check out John's podcast, The Weekly Comic Spotlight. That comes out every Monday morning. He and his co-host James, they do a spoiler-free review of comics. One from DC, one from Marvel, and at least one other. And finally, I want to thank you, the listeners. Thank you very much, for your time, and for listening to this interview. Until next time, guys, aloha.